Chapter 6.
Well,
Maya demanded.
how did it go?
It was wonderful, I answered, sipping coffee on her patio, looking out at her swimming pool.
Give me details. Was it romantic? Did you kiss? That dress I lent you should have had him eating out of the palm of your hand.
That dress sent a clear message, I scolded. But dinner was romantic, and he was very attentive.
But did you kiss?
Yes, there was a goodnight kiss.
How long did it last?
She interrogated. It lasted long enough. She pouted.
You're keeping something from me. Was it a bad kiss?
No, it was a very good kiss. Hell, it was a great kiss that made me want to forget the baby steps and dive into bed. It was new and familiar at the same time. Heated to the point that I felt like I was steaming, and unbelievably painful to break and leave, especially knowing I was returning to an empty apartment with a broken door and no bed. Grayson's bed called to me, beckoning me to spend the night in his warm, sensuous embrace. If his traveling hands and exploring lips were any indication, it would have been a night to remember.
How long did the kiss last?
Frankie asked. Maya and I turned to find Frankie stepping out from the patio door. When did you get here? I asked.
Just now. David let me in.
I eyed Frankie. He was buzzing with nervous energy. Why are you here? I asked, knowing no good could come from him being here.
I figured I'd check here first. I have a favor to ask both of you.
No gigs?
I promise, no gigs. I still have one if you change your mind, though.
He added. I kept careful watch as he settled into the chair next to Maya.
Do you want coffee?
Maya asked. Frankie shook his head.
My eyeballs are floating already. Mark is a busy little homemaker and has been topping off my cup every time I turn around. I thought I was still on my first cup until my hands started shaking.
He really doesn't mind his 2 weeks of servitude, does he? I asked.
He loves it. It's more of a punishment for me. But I have to admit, my Italian leathers have never looked so good. And it's nice to be taken care of.
I had a feeling there was something more to their relationship even when they were feuding. Will he stay after the 2 weeks? I asked. You only have a few more days left.
Hell no.
Frankie was quick with his answer. Too quick.
I want my bachelor pad back. Do you know he started making covers for everything?
What kind of covers?
Maya asked.
The toaster and coffee maker were the first to be covered with a quilted frog and panda bear. Then he started in the bathroom and has covered the tissue box, toilet paper, and even the plunger handle. I'm living in a menagerie of quilted animals.
Oh, that's cute.
Maya said.
Does he make them by hand?
Frankie cringed.
Yes. He set up the spare room as his craft room. I can't wait until he leaves.
You're going to miss him, I said.
No, I won't.
Frankie protested a little too much.
What was the favor you wanted?
Maya asked. Relieved to switch subjects, Frankie happily announced,
Mark and I are going to perform a duet. You know, for old time's sake.
That's so exciting.
Maya squealed.
I want to come and watch.
You'll be there, but you won't be watching.
The Frankie alarm blared. Bells and sirens galore.
Do you need help backstage? I've always wanted to see the action behind the curtain.
Actually, we want you and Nadia to be backup singers. Mark's designing the outfits as we speak.
Maya's eyes nearly popped out of her head as she squealed and bounced in her chair. I groaned and sunk into mine. Frankie, you know I can't sing, I complained. Even if I could, I'm not going on stage as a backup singer.
Oh, poo.
Maya waved off my complaint.
It'll be fun.
You don't have to worry about singing. You're more for show than sound.
Frankie added. I narrowed my gaze. Then what's the point?
The point, Miss Grumpy Pants, is that it'll be Mark's farewell. He's bound to get clingy at the end, and what better way to sidetrack him than to give him something to look forward to? He'll be too busy working on choreography to count the remaining minutes.
Why do we have to be a part of your scheme?
The farewell needs to dazzle like fireworks.
And backup singers will add dazzle? I asked dryly.
Of course, we'll be the only drag queens armed with backup singers.
You'll be in drag?
Maya asked with rounded eyes, cutting off my complaints.
Of course, everyone at Celebrity MASH is in drag.
We should dress up as men.
Maya exclaimed, clearly wanting to be a part of the action. Frankie paused in thought as a smile brewed.
That's an excellent idea.
When should we practice?
Maya asked.
Right away. We only have 2 days before curtain.
Maya gasped.
Do you think it'll be enough time?
Frankie eyed her.
Clearly, you've never been to Celebrity MASH.
Well, at least I don't have to wear a dress, I thought as they chatted animatedly.
What song are we performing?
Maya asked.
It's raining men.
Hallelujah, I muttered. I wiped the sweat from my brow as I ran over to answer my cell phone.
Take 5.
Frankie called, seeing that I had deserted my spot. Hello? I asked breathlessly.
Did I call it a bad time, kitten?
Caleb asked. Not at all. You saved me from passing out.
Are you exercising? You sound out of breath.
I guess you could call it exercising. Frankie enlisted Maya and me to be backup singers at Celebrity MASH. We're practicing. More like tripping over each other. Mark and Frankie were fabulous, but I couldn't remember the steps. Maya was only slightly better. She made up for her lack of coordination with her bubbling enthusiasm. His rich laughter sent a wave of shivers.
Celebrity MASH? I've been there. Is he blackmailing you?
I wish I could say yes, but Maya was excited and I got swept along into the tornado.
When will you perform?
On Friday night.
I'll be there.
Are you sure you want to? It'll be nothing less than torture.
Torture for you, maybe, but I think I'll be quite entertained.
I could hear his smile through the phone. I'm glad you're available to suffer along with me, I mocked. He chuckled.
Time's wasting.
Frankie scolded, clapping his hands to round his crew. I better go, I said. Frankie's acting like a drill sergeant.
Before you go, I have to cancel our date tonight. I'm really sorry, kitten.
Oh, I said, caught off guard. Was he having second thoughts?
Before you start forming exaggerated conclusions, let me explain. I think I located Jessica. I'm heading over tonight to watch the place and see if I can find her.
Like a stakeout?
Something like that.
Then I'm coming too.
I don't want to waste your night. Go and have fun. We'll go out tomorrow.
I'm busy tomorrow night. It was Grayson's night.
Then the following night.
That's our performance.
Well, we'll figure out a night to go out.
Or you could be a cheap date and let me come. I'll treat you to a hamburger while we search for Jessica.
Are you sure?
Yes. I'll have you know I'm quite the detective. Not normally by choice, of course. If you think she's there, I'll sniff her out.
It could be a long night.
He warned. Then I'll buy 2 burgers.
Okay.
He conceded with a small laugh.
I'll pick you up at 6. I'll enjoy the company. But this doesn't count as a date. I don't want our first date to be sitting in a car eating hamburgers. It'd remind me of high school.
I wouldn't know. Boys avoided me like the plague.
They missed out. There's no way you could keep me away, kitten.
Caleb arrived at the chapel early. Frankie was putting us through our paces when I spotted Caleb leaning against the door with a wide grin and laughing blue eyes.
And 1. And 2.
Frankie counted as we reached to the side and then flung our hands up.
And strut and shake.
He called.
Forward, hip thrust. 1 and 2, and make love to the audience.
Only if Caleb was our only audience, I thought as I dipped Mark and pretended to kiss him. He was rather heavy. My back could only perform so many dips before it'd give way, I thought with a groan. I glanced at Maya, who was having no trouble dipping Frankie. A solo round of applause from Caleb captured Frankie's attention. Did Frankie just blush? It was hard to tell from his already flushed face. How long have you been standing there? I asked.
Long enough to know I can't wait to see the real performance.
Caleb said, still grinning.
Was it that good?
Frankie said, fluttering his hand to cool his face.
It was one of a kind.
Caleb said, still wearing his grin.
I was thoroughly entertained.
I knew we had the right routine.
Mark clapped enthusiastically.
If we looked good now, just wait until the audience sees us dressed up and in action.
Frankie said. His eyes glazed over as he reached in the air.
We'll be sensational. Spotlights, glittering dresses, and an energetic song.
What a great way to end our 2 weeks together.
Mark said wistfully, and then he frowned.
Then back to real life.
This is real life.
Maya said with a sympathetic smile.
Just because you have to run the chapel again doesn't mean you have to stop living.
I know, but I don't want to be Prince Charming anymore.
Then be Cinderella.
Maya said. A slow smile spread.
I could. The glass slippers would be adorable. But I'm tired of living in a fairy tale. The couples that come into the chapel are the only ones who leave with a happily ever after.
We'll help you think of something,
Maya said, glaring at Frankie and me to jump in. You and Frankie could merge your chapels together, I suggested. Mark's eyes widened with the dawning of a fabulous idea. Frankie's narrowed into slits. Uh-oh, bad idea. Well, I should leave, I said, inching toward the door under Frankie's deadly glare. Caleb and I have a mystery to solve. Busy, 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 I tittered as Frankie looked ready to claw.
Wait!
Maya called, halting my escape.
You can't go. You're all sweaty.
It was true. I was dripping with sweat and probably had a ripe odor as well.
Yes, Nadia.
Frankie agreed with steel daggers glinting in his narrow eyes.
Why don't you take a shower at my place? It'll give us time to chat.
I leaned over to Caleb. Can I shower at your place? I whispered through the side of my mouth, not taking my eyes off Frankie.
Only if I can help.
Caleb said with a smirk. I glanced between Caleb, who had a wicked look in his eyes, and Mark, who had stars in his, and then over to Frankie, whose deadly intention was written in bold across his scowling face. Deal.